What is your end game? Is your end game now to take this to the world courts, to establish yourself? What's your end game? Give me that.
Yeah, what's your end game?
No. I want to get to the what's your end game? No, I'm saying I'm just trying to understand what's the end game. Like, oh, you said you got all you can prove this, you can prove this, you can prove it where here on YouTube. No, or can you prove it where it matters? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Can you prove this where it matters? No, I'm serious. I'm asking, can you prove it where it matters?
Oh, hey, hold on, Morpheus. See, the question we run from, I like to listen to what people claim and say they are or were or whatever. My question to the brother is, what made you not become a Hebrew and decide to become Indian?
I got you, but every time I talk this, okay, I want to answer the brother's question first, then we can move on, because again, y'all asked me so many questions, and y'all just said don't do it to y'all. But back to way about the Negro like people first, then I'm gonna answer the question about what I'm doing, then I'm gonna answer the thing about the Hebrew. Can we agree to that? In order, real quick. It's Chris panel, so it's up to Chris. Everybody shouting, bro. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. Now, the first one right here, this is Lang Stork narrative of the Rezanoff voyage of New California in 1806. Then when you go to page 56, it starts describing the Indians for one. It says these Indians are of a million or rather short stature, and it says their color is of such a dark brown that
this that Walter Plecker conversation. I feel like I started this shit about 10 years ago. This fucking conversation. Wasn't nobody talking about this motherfucker. And because I got interrupted when I was having that bill with Jabari, what was it, 2018? I never got to clarify myself when I introduced Walter Plecker to the conversation. See, this is the thing. Motherfuckers be generalizing. I introduced Walter Plecker to the conversation for a specific reason, because I was telling my story. See, there's something to the whole Walter Plecker. You know what? Let me tell you something about myself that you might not know. In 1996, I was on the Chicago Bulls. Yeah. I played with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. I was on the Bulls. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove to me I was not on the Chicago Bulls. I don't have a ring because my shoebox burnt down. I had all my rings and my important stuff in my shoebox. And it caught fire and it burst into flames. That's the only reason I don't got my ring. But I was on the team. Yeah, no, well, they didn't really mention me much. But I was on the team. Yeah, I was on the Chicago Bulls. 1996. I'm him. Now, shit sounds crazy, right? Without me saying another word, if you wanted to refute whether or not I was on the Chicago Bulls, you could simply pull up the team roster. Look on the players list. Was he on the Bulls in 96 at any point? To research the whole year, because players, they cut people, sign people, different things happen during the season. So you'd have to look at a whole list of all the people that actually played for the team that year. And then you're like, you know what? Let me go see. Maybe he was a fucking coach. Let me go look at the coach. No coaches. Maybe he's in the front office. Nope. I just looked up the whole Chicago Bulls organization in 96, and your name ain't nowhere. Fucking weirdo. You a lying ass nigga. That's simple. I don't got to get into no Harlem Wren shit. We ain't got to talk about a whole nother basketball league. We ain't got to talk about who invented basketball. We ain't got to bring the Olmecs up. We ain't got to get into shit to prove I wasn't on the Chicago Bulls. All we got to do is look the roster up. Real simple. So when people are talking about Walter Plecker, guess what? There's a playbook and a roster. And all you got to do is look the playbook and the roster up. You'll see what families he targeted, what counties, like exact, because it's all recorded. And if your family is one of those families, then you can talk about what Walter Plecker did. But if your family's not one of them families, probably had nothing to do with you, right? All this arguing, all this spin-off, talking debates, I'm gonna debate this and that. This is why none of them ever come around Turtle. Nobody want to talk to Turtle for specific reasons when it comes to this subject, because the games go out the door. Can't hide behind nothing no more. Can't play games. That's why they don't like Turtle. That's why they don't like Two Hawks, because they can't play with us. It's real simple. It's real simple. So let's see what else, where this conversation is going.
Good minute, right? Express themselves. And I know that everyone directing their questions to you, but when someone interjects, it's not time for you to interject on their interjection. So like I'm saying, there are people that look exactly like the Olmecs. There's a lot of black people that say, that's us. They look at their mouth, look at their hair. There's evidence that Native Americans.
Peace. Peace, Sean. Listen, that Olmec shit, I got a documentary about to drop. It's going to body all that shit. Those is not Africans. Motherfuckers is making them claims because they don't know shit about the Olmecs or their culture or their tradition. I'm going to body that whole Negro claim. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I'm so confident. I've been sitting on this information for like over 10 years, just waiting to get a little more pieces here and there. I didn't put a little bit of it out. Body all that shit. About to body all that shit. And I'm going to show it to you. This ain't going to be no, I'm going to show you that shit. Already have, actually. I've already showed it to you. Already explained it, but nah, motherfuckers just want to see what they want to see. So I'm going to lay it all out in this documentary. All right? That Olmec shit is bullshit. They their own people. They not Negroes. And faces look that way for a specific reason. And I will get to the bottom of that in this documentary.
Braided hair, right? Hair, we do not have a pattern on braided hair globally, right? They braided hair. So boom, yeah, out there with the hair thing. They have big noses just like we got big noses. They might be a different big nose, but they got big noses too.
There you
they
go.
Got big lips too.
Yep.
So what you just read, I don't feel like that's talking about me. No, I don't. They talking about my hair down to my waist when I have locks in it. My hair was doing that, but if you cut the hair and it goes up in the air and all that stuff. What the hell is that? That's not talking about Negroes. Nothing you read sounded like a Negro. That's my point.
And they can understand that my family has been here for nearly 200 years. What the hell California got to do with it?
Have you ever read an ethnology book?
Jeez.
Dealing with ethnology?
Yes.
See?
Okay, then. So you know how the Negroes describe, right?
Damn. Description.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yes, because those work for you.
I'm tired of that. Description is not identity. You can't go by somebody's description. Description get a nigga locked up for looking like somebody. What are we talking about, bro? This is what I mean. These motherfuckers don't understand shit. Description is not identity. You can simply look that up in the dictionary and see that it's two different things. Right? These people described people until they actually found out who they were. Once they found out who they were, they no longer described them. They called them by their actual names. So at first they're like, oh, look at these people. They look Asian. They look like the Canary Islands. They look Negro. They're brown. Ooh, Next thing you know, they met them. Now they're like, oh, these are the Powhatan. These are the Lenape. These are the Narragansett. These are the Choctaw. They gave them names that they were told. So now you can get rid of the whole description shit. I don't have to describe my goddamn son. I can tell you his name. I don't have to describe my next door neighbor. Once I meet him, I can tell you exactly who he is. I can tell you as much history as I know about him, so on and so forth. I don't have to keep referring to my next door neighbor via a description once I've fucking been living with him for fucking 400 years. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Why are you using descriptions of people who have been identified? That shit is insane to me. Why? Because you want to denationalize people so you can pull everybody into your little fucking crazy soup. Then you can emerge out thinking you somebody. Crazy. Crazy. Listen, I know. What up, Smasheroni? I know it's hard. It's hard to take this shit. It's hard to accept, to find your place. But you're not going to fucking find your place by trying to topple a fucking natural hierarchy to place yourself at the top where you don't belong. You belong at top, on top somewhere, but not here. I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, this is insane. They're talking about Walter Plecker, and they've gone everywhere in the world except for this link that I dropped there like 4 times. What's the problem? I thought y'all was building. Y'all talking, this man talk about Walter Plecker. I'm gonna hit y'all with the jewel, right? Y'all got more people on your platform, so I'm gonna hit you with the jewel so you can crush this shit, and all 150 people that's watching can fucking hear this jewel and go. I dropped the link, no response. All right, cool. I'll go over here and I'll fucking do the build on my own, and hopefully some of them people will hear it. Hopefully 9 people out of here now will take it with them and start shutting this shit down, because this whole Walter Plecker shit is bullshit. It only applies to certain people, and we're gonna get into that. I just want to hear a little bit more of they. See, this is the thing. Everybody trying to prove everybody wrong and trying to, like, it's an intellectual, banter. It's debate league. It's, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers want to shine. They don't just want to put the truth out. So Turtle come through, bong, drop the truth. But this is the thing. Same reason why I'm not involved in none of this online Sinetta shit. Because we can show and prove too much. That's why the only thing they can do is slander us. That's it. Because once we come, we're going to be able to validate the things we say and all that what if and all that, I got questions and shit. They can't ask us a million questions because we got a million answers. Like, this shit's crazy. Let me see what else they talking about before we get into this Plecker shit.
Those old books that you speak of, those books are not scientific. They're still going on phrenology and craniology and stuff like that, which has been disproven. The very concept of race that you keep on created by journey.
So if I walk up to you and give a brief description of what you look like, and I said this person looks like a Negro.
Right.
What's a Negro?
Knowledge of what a Negro is. The same way that those people who went to California did.
Jesus.
They based it on their knowledge of what a Negro was.
Yeah.
When these people went down to Africa, it's the same thing.
They didn't have to do that because Africans have been in Europe for quite some time at that point.
Do you see the double-mindedness of what you're saying?
No.
Because look, the thing is, when they went to the Philippines, let me put it real quick. When they went to the Philippines and they found those black people in the Philippines, they referred to them as Negrito, which means small black people. That's what it means. They didn't say that they looked like niggers. They didn't say that they looked like Negroes. They described them as Negrito. They described them as little niggers. Yep. They didn't describe the Indians in the United States as little niggers. No, seriously, bro. Listen. You said, because you said Asian. So when they went to these Asian islands, they referred to these people as Negrito. They didn't refer to them as Negro-like. They referred to them as small Negro. They didn't do that in America.
No, you don't got it.
You do. Big up with you.
This statement that I got to bounce that I got to go ahead and go.
See, I told you.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. That's right. And they ain't even hit him with the jewel.
You started until Chris, I was gonna come back. you try to play it. Don't matter how you try to angle it. When an expeditioner came there,
No, you're angling, nigga.
Negroes, and they define them as Negroes, then that is a Negro to them.
Where do they get the power to define people?
Show you these professors and the other
Damn.
traditions.
Do you hear how his mind works?
I eat it up, all of it.
All of it.
I eat it all.
Yep.
Y'all umbrellaing people's look, let me thing like that. Y'all mislabeling people.
This nigga did his genealogy and found no Native American.
Let me point out how you double talk though, bro, because you just got through something. You was talking about the colored bathrooms. So, yeah, I figured you would jump down, but he tried to mix that the whole lot of design.
Yeah. Hold up. First of all, description is not identity. Description is not identity. Description is not identity. If I fucking have some, all right, check it out. You lose your property, and your property has something within it to signify that it's yours. Dan Tyner, what up? Peace. Your property has something in it to signify that it's yours. You go to retrieve your property, they're going to ask for an ID, which identifies you specifically. You're not going to go, well, I'm about 6'3", 195. Brown eyes. Look at me. You're not going to do that. You're going to have to show this man your ID. You can't describe yourself. What are we talking about? Where's your mind at, man? How old are you? What's going on? What's up, people? Damn. Then my man said, Negro, like, what the fuck is a Negro if it's like, do we know what exonyms and shit is? Do we know what that is? Like, do we have to keep going over that shit? Like, didn't Obama talking about, oh, we gonna support the indigenous people's rights? Ain't that a part of what sent motherfuckers going crazy? Thought motherfuckers could now self-identify? Ooh, we can change who we are. Obama said it. The undrip. We can, right? Self-identification. Ain't that where people was heading? So when did we ever self-identify as Negroes? After we got hit over the head, right? Boop. Huh? Negro? I'm a Negro. Yeah, if you got hit over your head, you were Negro. But when did you ever self-identify as a Negro? Huh? What nation is the nation of Negroes? What's the Negro language? And don't start saying random African languages. No, them people got their own specific identities. Yep, I'm about to really look into my African ancestry now that I got my DNA back and I know exactly where to start probing. Yeah. That's right. What is the matter with these people? Y'all better get right. Find your place. You better learn how to treat your aunt like she your aunt and not some fucking little hood rat off the street. That's your aunt you talking about. Those your uncles you talking about. If you say, and you don't even know what I'm talking about, but if you say that's your people, them your aunts and your uncles, your grandparents. Fuck is you talking crazy about them for? Oh, that's right. There's an imaginary tribe. Oh yeah, we did identify those tribes. Let me stop fronting on y'all, because you know I'm a gatekeeper, so I be holding back. I be hiding information. That's what they say. So yeah, the actual oldest Aboriginal, indigenous, autochthonous tribes in the America are the Bautus and the Finna people. They've been identified as the oldest tribes in the Americas. They're older than evidence itself. These motherfuckers created ether. These motherfuckers are the 9 ether beings that created all things in existence. Therefore, the proof of their creation does not exist because they existed before creation. They are the Bautu and the Finna people. How do you know about Bautu and a Finna? Well, They always talking about what they about to do and what they finna do. We about to get our land back, and we finna do this, and we finna do that. That's who they are. And they've been described as a Negro race from the Americas. The about to live on the western banks of the Nile, and the finna live on the eastern banks of the Nile. That's where they exist. Yep. They have no actual creation myth because they created their own creation story. Like God shit. These niggas created their own creation story. That is some powerful shit, or some fucking psychotic, narcissistic shit. I'm still trying to figure it out. But anyway, let me get to this Walter Plecker'S situation. All right. I'm not even gonna we're not even gonna do this too long. So here we go. Walter Plecker. All right. So Walter Plecker. So let's first of all, it's from the Native Heritage Project. All right. So this is something put together by actual Native Americans, the actual tribes who were discussing the information. All right. The Santee Indian Mounds, South Carolina. Walter Plecker'S target list, posted August 30th, 2012. Not no new information. Walter Plecker, no matter how you color it, was an evil man. His actions for decades were reprehensible. He believed he was doing the right thing, but he was not. He is most remembered for his Racial Integrity Act of 1924 and the persistent hounding of people of color thereafter to assume that anyone of color or with even a drop of what he defined as colored blood was listed on any document that mattered as black, or in the vernacular of the day, Negro or colored. So all these niggas arguing for you to identify with Negro, these motherfuckers work for Walter Plecker. That was his motherfucking job. All right, let's go. And Dr. Swindle, Hood, Wink, whatever. Yeah, I cuss. I say nigga. That's right. And all right. So, however, he inadvertently did us a favor. His zeal has turned out to help the very descendants of those he so mercilessly pursued. Whew. His zeal has turned out to help the very descendants of those who he so mercilessly pursued. Damn, had my motherfucking I had a autistic one moment. Wouldn't he be just mortified? You can read about him here. So that's a wiki. I am not going there. We're going to continue with this article. Plecker'S 1943 letter to Virginia hospitals, doctors, and clerks of court, people who were responsible for completing and recording birth, marriage, and death certificates, provided unquestionable orders for how to record births to those of mixed race. What? Provided unquestionable orders for how to record births to those of mixed race. Who was Walter Plecker targeting? The births of those of mixed race, along with the list of surnames to be watching for. What? Did I just tell you he gave you the playbook and the roster? Did I tell these niggas they gave you the playbook and the goddamn roster? And you niggas is over here drawing up fucking hook and ladders and fucking reverses and y'all doing trick plays and shit. I'm telling you, get this motherfucking ball to this fucking nigga and run straight up the goddamn, run right down this motherfucker's throat. Pause. What? Yeah, fuck all these trick plays. Fuck letting them cross up and let's see what he got. Let's lay back and see what he got. No, run his ass over. I don't gotta let these motherfuckers see what they got. I run their asses right the fuck over. I know what the fuck they about to say before they say it. Damn. All right. Let's go back. Provided unquestionable orders for how to record births to those of mixed race, along with the list of surnames to be watching for. Not just anybody. Mixed race and names. So now we can throw all this General Walter Plecker shit out. General Walter Plecker, sir. No, he was never a general. He was nothing. Nothing general about this motherfucker. Specific. This nigga was not swinging a sledgehammer. Nigga had a scalpel. Nigga had a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. For us today, his target list is a sit up and take notice list for those who might very well have Native American ancestry. Assuredly, these people had mixed race ancestry. Assuredly, these people had mixed race ancestry. Damn, when these niggas figure out Turtle been telling them the fucking truth all this time, they ain't gonna know what to do with themselves. They gonna feel ashamed. These motherfuckers, like, I know what it is when people feel ashamed and they feel like they can't fucking look me in the eye. I've had to deal with it with people who I fucking love. Assuredly, these people had mixed race ancestry, or there would have been no question how to record their information in the first place. What did I tell you? And it's not that I'm telling you, I just actually am familiar with the information, and I'll tell you why, right? So now we go down to Plecker'S instructional letter, and the target list follows. January 1943, local registrars, physicians, health officers, nurses, school superintendents, and clerks of the courts. Dear co-workers. So this is the actual letter that Plecker wrote. Now, if this is not primary, what's more primary than the actual fucking sheet of paper? And we have that too. Yeah, we have that too. Okay. Our December 1942 letter to local registrars, also mailed to the clerks, set forth the determined effort to escape from the Negro race of groups of free issues or descendants of the free mulattoes of early days. I gave them I told them everything. I've been telling y'all all this shit. Laid it out for you. Niggas won't fight me. Free mulattoes of early days. So listed prior to 1865 in the United States Census and various types of state records as distinguished from slave Negroes. Turtle, you've been fucking telling them this shit the whole time. And these niggas want to tell you. These niggas that actually come from tribes who were a part of the 5 civilized tribes are calling you and your people the sellouts. And they're literally yelling out about the Dawes Roll. It's fucking crazy. Now, these people are playing up the advantages gained by being permitted to give Indian as the race of the child's parent on birth certificates. We see the great mistake made in not stopping earlier the organized propagation of this racial falsehood. This is what Plecker's saying. They have been using the advantage thus gained as an aid to intermarriage into the white race and to attend white schools. And now for some time, they have been refusing to register with war draft boards as Negroes, as required by the boards, which are faithfully performing their duties. 3 of these Negroes from Caroline County were sentenced to prison on January 12th in the United States Court at Richmond for refusing to obey the draft laws unless permitted to classify themselves as Indians. Now, let me tell you what's going on. Why are these mixed individuals insisting they're Indian? Why? Because culture dictates that, not U.S. documents, not colonial documents, not state records. What determines whether or not you are a member of your tribal community is your tribal community. And if your community identifies as Indian and they identify you as one of them, whether you're fucking mixed or you're fucking adopted or you're married in, You are viewed as an Indian by that community, and no one outside of that community has anything to say about it. Fuck a nigga who says otherwise. When we talk about Indians, we're talking about families. Now, I ask any of you out there, who can come into your family and tell you who's a family member or not? Huh? Who the fuck can do that? Who can come into your family and drag your cousin's wife up out of there, even though she's not blood related? Who can come into your family reunion and drag your cousin's wife up out your family reunion? Who on the planet can do that? It better be the police, and they better have all types of shit with them. Ain't no other people gonna come do it, and we're gonna do it, and the police is gonna have to do it we're gonna be under threat, duress, and coercion. So it's not like we just gonna let her have her. The point I'm trying to make is don't nobody determine who your family is but you and your family. And for the most part, your family can't determine it, because if you come through that womb, it is what it is. They not bigger than God. So why are these black mixed people identifying as Indian? Because they come from Indian families and they continue with Indian traditions, and that's the history they come from, and that's how they identify. And it's not for the government to tell them otherwise. It doesn't matter what their genetic makeup is. What matters is how that community that they're a part of sees them. All right, so that's what we're getting confused. We're getting these things. We're getting U.S. documents and law confused with tradition and culture. Two different conversations. All right, stop conflating the two. So here we go. Some of these mongrels, finding that they have been able to sneak in their birth certificates unchallenged as Indians, are now making a rush to register as white. So the problem is, white people never had a problem marrying Indians, right? Indians never had a problem marrying black people. So now you get white people that are starting to marry what they think are Indians, but really they're Indians with Negro blood. And that's the problem. That's why the Racial Integrity Act was created, because they seen the Indians was fucking with the niggas and they fucking with the Indians. So they had to cut all that shit out. And that's what this shit was about. To aid all of you in determining just which are the mixed families, we have made a list of their surnames by counties and cities, as complete as possible at this time. This list should be preserved by all, even by those in counties and cities not included, as these people are moving around over the state and changing race at the new place. A family has just been investigated, which was always recorded as Negro around Glade Springs, Washington County, but which changed to white and married as such in Roanoke County. This is going on constantly and can be prevented only by care on the part of local registrars, clerks, doctors, health workers, and school authorities. Please report all known or suspicious cases to the Bureau of Vital Statistics, giving names, age, parents, and as much other information as possible. All certificates of these people showing Indian or white are now being rejected and returned to the physician or midwife. But local registrars hereafter must not permit them to pass their hands uncorrected or unchallenged and without a note of warning to us. 150,000 other mulattoes in Virginia are watching eagerly the attempt of their pseudo-Indian brethren, ready to follow in a rush when the first have made a break in the dike. So here we go. Very truly yours, Walter Ashby Plecker, MD, State Registrar of Vital Statistics. I don't know what else, like the conversation's over. Conversation's over. Walter Plecker only targeted mixed Indians. So that ends the whole, they reclassified Negroes. That ends that conversation. Surnames by counties and cities of mixed Negroid Virginia families striving to pass as Indian or white. Amherst, Migrants to Alleghany and Campbell. Adcock. Adcox, Beverly. The family is now trying to evade the situation by adopting the name of Birch or Burch, which was the name of the white mother of the present adult generation. Branham. Oh, damn, who the fuck is a Branham? I feel like I know some Branhams. Yeah, my fucking brother, my father, and all my goddamn family. Fuck is y'all talking about? Branham, Duff, Floyd, Hamilton, Hartless, Hicks, Johns, Lawless, Nuckles, Painter, Ramsey, Redcross, Roberts, Southards, whatever, Sorrells, Terry, Tyree, Willis, Clark, Cash, Wood. That's Amherst, right? So if you can trace your family back to one of these families in Amherst, you're going to get close to finding out whether you have Native American ancestry, because you could just have white ancestry. All right, Bedford, McVeigh, Maxey, Branham, Burley, see Amherst County. Rockbridge, Migrants to Augusta, Cash, Clark, Coleman, Duff, Floyd, Hartless, Hicks, Mason, Mays, Painters, Pulse, Ramsey, Southards, Sorrells, Terry, Tyree, Wood, Johns, Charles City, Collins, Dennis, Bradby, Howe, Langston, Stewart, Wynn, Atkins, King William, Collins, Dennis, Bradby, Howe, Langston, Stewart, Wynn, Costello, Dungo, Holmes, Miles, Page, Almond, Adams, Hawks, Surplot, Doggett, New Kent, Collins, Bradby, Stewart, Wynn, Atkins, Langston. Now, Atkins is a name in my family, right? That's my cousin's grandfather. They was Atkins, and they moved up here, right? So they could join the army, because they couldn't join the army down there because they identified as Indians, right? So he moved up here so he could join the army, changed his name from Atkins. See what I'm saying? We know this history. Great story behind that ends up culminating in Fairhaven, New Jersey, at one of the first freedmen towns of Fairhaven, which was a mixed freedmen and Indian town. Like, yo, we know this stuff. Henrico and Richmond City, Charles City, New Kent and King William, Caroline, Bird, Fortune, Nelson. We know the Fortunes. Estes and King and Queen, Nelson, Fortune, Bird, Cooper, Tate, Hammond, Brooks, Broughton, Prince, Mitchell, Robinson, Elizabeth City and Newport News, Stewart, descendants of the Charles City families, Halifax, Epps, Stewart, Coleman, Johnson, Martin, Talley, Shepherd, Young, Norfolk County and Portsmouth, Sawyer, Bass, Weaver, Locklear, King, Bright, Potter, Ingram, Westmoreland, Sorrells, Worrell, Atwells, Guttridge, Olive, Green, Shiflett, Prince William, Tyson, Seeger, Fuquar, Hoffman, Riley, Colvin, Phillips, Lancaster, Dorsey, Washington, Beverly, Barlow, Thomas, Hughes, Lethco, Worley, Roanoke, Beverly, Lee and Smythe, Collins, Gibson, Moore, Gomes, Ramsey, Delph, Bunch, Freeman, Mize, Barlow, Bolden, Mullins, Hawkins, chiefly Tennessee, Melungeons, Russell, Scott, Dingus, Russell, Keith, Castile, Stillwell, Meade, Prophet, Tazwell. Stillwell is a family name of mine as well. Hammond, Duncan, Wise, S. Lee, C. Lee, Smith, Scott, Russell counties. So that's a list at the time. Now, I'm sure them families have gone on to take on other names as well, but that's a starting point. That's a hell of a starting point. That's a hell of a starting point for somebody who really wants to access this information. All right. So let me see what you got to say here. Let me see. Funny thing is, I always thought I was a mulatto because I was adopted and didn't know. Then I met my biological family, found out that I'm Igbo, which a lot are light skin. Okay. And did you do your DNA? Yeah, culture dictates that. Ain't got nothing to do with the skin. That's right. Yeah, I got, man, I did my shit. I always knew I had Irish. My Irish come through. I'm also I also come from the Bowles line, the same line as Chief Bowles. So I got that. I don't know if his father was Irish or Scottish, but that's one of my grandfathers too. Not Chief Bowles. Chief Bowles' father. I come from Chief Bowles' sister. Well, one of my lines come from Chief Bowles' sister, not me. One of my lines. But yeah, so now this other one I just wanted to pull up, just to put a cap on it. Like, it is what it is. People can keep chasing, or they could have just read the letter. Yeah, we Ruffins too. I got Ruffin. That's one of our lines too. That's the name of the cemetery that they are tearing up right now. It's the Ruffin Cemetery. Yeah, like, so the thing is, this list provides a starting point to see if you're connected to any of these families. So if you're going to talk about Walter Plecker, like, it's not nothing. Like, Walter Plecker did not target any full-blood Indians or Negroes. They only targeted mixed people. So all these people who are claiming Walter Plecker, you should at least be able to find a surname on that list. There's a whole lot of goddamn surnames on that list. I got about 5 of them on there with the actual name I carry. Actually, both my names, because my first name is a prominent Monacan family as well. Both my names are prominent Monacan family names, right? Which is exactly who Plecker was targeting. So, yeah, I know everybody want to get it in, and I respect everybody and shit, but none of these people know what the fuck they talking about. Yep, listed as mulatto. And mulatto, this is the thing about mulatto, right? Mulatto is a term that is being placed upon the offspring of people of different ethnicities. The term is placed on the child as almost like a scarlet letter type thing, right? It's placed on them like it's a badge of shame. Why? Because intermixing was looked at as negative. Remember, mulatto come from mule. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a positive term. It's not a self-identifying term. Like, none of these shits that these motherfuckers is arguing over is self-identifying. And people are like, oh, we were Negroes. Look, he described us as Negroes. Well, fuck, nigga. That just means dark. And then we got to run right back to description and identity are not the same. Description will help if you don't know the person's identity. But if you just rest at their description, right? How many people fit the description? Cops run up on them, run they shit, and they like, oh, you not him. And they let him go because he's not him, even though he fit the description, right? I got arrested years ago, coming home from work. Got home about 1 o'clock, get to the crib. I'm fucking starving. Only thing I could do is go run to the little Chinese spot out on George Street. I was living in New Brunswick. So our Chinese spot open. So I run around to the Chinese spot, order my food. Now I didn't even get there. As I'm walking there, fucking cops run down on me. And basically, I fit the description of somebody they'd been chasing. Said somebody in a camouflage jacket robbed an old woman and they've been chasing them on a bike. So here I am walking to the thing with my camo jacket on. Last time I ever wore my shit. And these niggas jumped on me. Now, they jumped on me because I fit the description. They asking me my name and I'm shooting on my alias because I got warrants and shit. So I'm like, I ain't telling these niggas my real name. So I shoot him the alias, right? This is how important identity is. I shoot him the alias. I tell him who I am. Bong, bong, bong. Give him the fucking social security because I got that shit memorized. Boom. Hit him with the social. They running the shit, right? So as they running the shit, they patting me down, and I happen to have a book that I was reading in my pocket. And in my book was my fucking W-2 or whatever my boss just gave me. So they opened the book up. They seen the W-2. They seen my real name. Now they like, oh, why you lie to us about your name? I'm like, oh, I got warrants. So now they run my shit. Now they see I got warrants. Guess what? I fit the description for the person who robbed a woman. But guess what? I wasn't him. But once they found out who I was and seen I had warrants, I went to jail that night. See? So description and identity, different. They identified me, and the only reason I got locked up because I had warrants, not because I was the person they was chasing. They never charged me with robbing no woman. Never got that charge. So that lets you know that I wasn't that person. But the point I'm trying to make is description and identity, two different things. You can describe somebody, they go stand up, and the motherfucker come there and be like, nah, that's not them. Yeah, but you described them. Like this nigga's 6'6", fucking amazing basketball player. You're like, yeah, but that's Vince Carter, nigga. That's not Michael Jordan. Well, you described him. 6'6" basketball player. Well, here, no, that's Kobe. That's not Mike. Oh, see, description, like that shit ain't right and exact. Should just carry you for the moment. So once again, bro, stop trying to discredit the real people because they're lighter now. Like, shit happens, bro. We live in a fucking nation that's been colonized, and there's people from all over the world here. Why would you think motherfuckers are going to stay stagnant and people not going to start to look different? Like, damn, bro. Like, this is crazy. Like, my son darker than me. Both me and my son's mother are lighter than my son, but my son is darker than us. Shit happens, bro. My grandmother had 16 kids. They all look different. They all got the same parents. They don't all look different, but for the most part, they look different. They don't all look carbon copied, you know what I mean? A bunch of my aunts got my great-grandmother's nose, right? So they got the big, wide nose. And then some of my aunts got the other grandmother's nose, so they got the real slim, alkaline noses. They don't even look like sisters. And they sisters. On top of the fact that they 15 years apart, because back in the day, our grandparents, and my grandmother was born in 1902. So I ain't talking about, yeah, you can see when you go to Powell, yeah, all shades. And that's the problem. People don't spend enough time at these places to hear the stories, to understand. You don't want to put no understanding. You just want to accuse people. You want to say this, and then you want to leave it at that. Go to them powwows. Introduce yourself. If you say you that, remember, this shit is family. That's what y'all don't get. Y'all think y'all running up on some tribe. That shit just means family. And ain't nobody gonna let you just come up in the family and you acting crazy and you want to take the big piece of chicken and you want all that crazy shit. Nobody want to hear that shit. Nobody want to hear that shit. Like, tribes of families, you be talking about people like they don't actually have families that are still living and exist and breathe right now. Y'all doing genealogy, saying, oh, I found my ancestor back in the 1800s. These people know their ancestors going back 15, 16 generations because they supposed to, because it's a part of their culture. Y'all don't know that shit. Remember, not everybody was stripped of their culture. So you can't apply the rules that you're being forced to play by on other people. Because you don't know who your sixth great-grandfather is, don't mean that they don't. Africans name themselves according to that. These motherfuckers got like 15 names. And that shit be their genealogy. I got names, like my mom is named after somebody else. There's been a bunch of Frances Rocks. She ain't the first Frances Rock, but that's done for a reason. So we had our methods of keeping the records alive right? That's why you have aunts with the same name as great aunts and things of that nature. That's how we kept the records alive. These people know. These people know. You just got to be able to identify who you are. And irregardless of what you look like now, as long as you don't come fucking all crazy and talking crazy, that's the problem with y'all. Dude said, I don't recognize those people. And what resources are you bringing to the table? Who the fuck are you to even utter that you don't recognize? When you say you don't recognize, that means you're blind or you're ignorant. Because you're not talking about recognizing from a position of power, like the United States can recognize or not recognize tribes. Why? Because they're financing tribes. So if they say we recognize you, what they're saying is, yeah, we're gonna foot the bill. As long as y'all play the, you know what I mean, do what we need you to do and this and that, but we're gonna fit the bill. That's what recognize means. We're gonna bring something to the table. What do these people need you to recognize them for? How about this? How about you go up on their reservations and you go find the warrior class people, you go find the ones who put it down for their people, right? Who got no problem getting in the mud. Go find them and say, yo, bro, I don't recognize none of y'all. Yeah, go find them. Go have that debate with them. Go bring your little chalkboard and your primary sources and go tell them right in the mud. Say, I don't think, and go to their sacred places and tell them this is all this and right? And then get your ass back on, hopping back, whatever European car you driving, right? Then go back to your European lifestyle while you just told somebody who's in the mud, speaking their own language, doing ceremony, that you don't recognize them. You won't make it out of there. You'll be a part of the ceremony. What we talking about? Like what nigga that can't even get on the court? Oh, Stephen A. Smith ass niggas. That's what it is. I forgot that bunch of Stephen A. Smith ass niggas. You can't get on the court, but you can talk about what's going on the court like you on the goddamn court. Nigga, shut your ass up. You couldn't even make it on the court. And if you did, you ain't got the heart to motherfucking perform. They're debating, talking about case law. I'm gonna give you this and I'm gonna get out of here. See if they still talking.
Now you talking back to what a Negro. As Negro, and they wouldn't have had no need to color about.
But you know what, though? He don't realize that the source that he read killed him. His own source killed him, right? They describe these people with straight hair. They said Negro-like. Let me tell you something. I took my grandkids to the zoo. We went to the gorilla exhibition. And they said, yo, look at those gorillas. They human-like. Am I saying they're human? Am I calling those gorillas human? Because the gorillas are human-like. They got look at their eyes. They're human-like. His source said they are Negro-like. They didn't say it was Negro. His own source said that. His own source.
Yep.
And I'm trying to figure out, like, I think that with these guys, there's a comprehension problem. They can
Major.
Well, comprehension is a whole nother thing, comprehending what you're reading. Right? And most of these people have comprehension problems.
Man,
their own sources be killing them.
They pushed them through school. You know how many niggas graduated that shouldn't have?
Oh.
Yeah. They pushed these niggas through school. They gave these niggas participation trophies. These niggas got a whole wall full of participation trophies.
He said, I want you to debate all black people are African in America. 100%. He knows DNA proves that wrong right off rip. So he'll win that right off top. But notice what I said at the beginning of the show is that they never showed you any verifiable proof of any of the things that they are claiming.
Nope.
He then went to, I don't know how he ended up in the Racial Integrity Act that does not call Indians black or Negro. It calls them colored, and it clearly explains why they color them colored. As I tried to read it, what did he do? He began to get very aggressive about that. Read from this, read from that, read from this, read from that. Well,
let's get to the names, nigga. Get to the names.
Then anytime that his information was countered with comprehension, logic, pathos, ethos, what did he start doing? He started getting very aggressive. Now, I do appreciate the brother for coming on here, right? I had to leave and bite my tongue for a minute because sometimes they get very irritated. But this source that you read does not prove that these people are African. If you look at the Native American or any other indigenous person that was already here, they lived quite like the Africans did. They were very polytheistic. They did not really wear clothes as Europeans were wearing. They lived by the rivers. So if you read all of that doctrine, you'll see the contrast in which they were comparing indigenous peoples over here in Spain or America, right? Or Barbados to Africans. That's not why they call them Negro, though. They call them Negro because of the texture of their skin. Because they too are melanated, or they have darker skin tone than that of their own. And that's all they're saying. Negro is not an ethnicity, it is a color. And that's what he fails to understand when you're reading a document that's older than 50 years old. You're reading a document from a journal some 220 something, 25, 225 plus years old from 16 something, right? And you're reading that and you're trying to say, see, it says they're Negro-like. And then you argue with us, leave the screen, and then say that they are Negroes. It did not say that. It didn't say it at all. But let's get into this colored persons here. Did anybody have anything to say? I knew he was going to do this.
I don't hear this shit no more.
Hold on. That's talking.
Yeah, fix his mic.
Yeah, you got to fix it.
Does anybody ever ask themselves, like, how many people are actually familiar with Olmec artifacts, or are you just familiar with the Olmec colossal heads?
End game, right? I mean, cut through all the bullshit for me. What's the end game?
We have none.
What is your goal? What's the end game? You think you have a case? Okay, cool. Are you planning on bringing this case that you think you have to where it matters? Not you two.
They have nowhere to. Who they gonna take the case to? The only people who have cases are the nations. If you have a case, it's as an individual against the United States for whatever personal fucking, you know what I'm saying? But it's the nations who have a case. And if you're a part of a nation, you should support your nation. If you feel your nation's corrupt and you're in a position to fucking make change, then be the change you want to see. Slandering people, taking vacations is not going to change shit. None of this shit is going to change anything but hard work. It's going to take generations. It took us generations to get in this shit. It's going to take us generations to get out. But if you know history, you know that the Moors occupied Spain for 800 years. I'm sure year 400, them motherfuckers thought we ain't never getting these motherfuckers out of here. Right? But they damn sure did. But they was fighting back the whole time. Y'all ain't know that, huh? The Reconquista started like 730, 720 something. Them motherfuckers started fighting back quick, and they was fighting the whole 800 years. I think at some point in time, this is what the history of America gonna be. Because at some point, the indigenous people are going to take the land back. It's just a matter of, it is what it is. It's going to happen. It's happened everywhere else. It's happened everywhere else. People just don't know it because they're not attached to national or they don't know actual history. Like studying the history of nations will tell you how nations migrated and moved places and went to war over lands and shit. It's all in there. Like shit ain't just all of a sudden gonna stop. It is what it is. It's happening now. All right. Yeah, the level of technology is gonna make it a harder fight. Yeah, absolutely. But the fight's gonna happen regardless. Nothing stagnant. Yeah, just wanted to deal with that Walter Plecker'S shit. Now this Olmec shit, I won't give too much shit away, but you ever ask yourself why do the colossal heads look the way they look, but the rest of the Olmec artifacts don't? There's only a few specific Olmec artifacts that look supremely Negro. There's only a few. And I'm not going to give it away right now, but it's all going to be covered. It's all going to be covered. There's a specific reason why they look the way they look. People, they like to simplify things. The look-alike test is not sufficient. Just like the fucking penny. Like, why does, like, okay, we know pennies are made of copper, right? But pennies oxidize. There are different shades of pennies, right? So every penny is not copper in appearance, right? So if we're talking about description, because these people love description, right? If they describe the people as the copper tone nations, when did this brother get copper tone? Oh, he got copper tone when that copper penny oxidized and turned brown. But guess what? Pennies are not the measure of what copper looked like. Pennies are made of copper, but why would you use a penny when you could just use an actual piece of raw copper that's been untreated? Like, guess what? When them people described the Native Americans as copper tone people, Abraham Lincoln had not yet been born and pennies had yet to be created. So they're not comparing these people to a bunch of fucking pennies. They're comparing them to actual copper. And when you look at actual copper, that brother there that was on that show today, this little TikToker, that nigga is brown. He is not copper. So how are people claiming the copper tone nations, copper tone people, and they brown? Why? Because they're using the penny logic. But they're forgetting that pennies oxidize. They're forgetting that pennies come in 4 colors. Right? The bright one is called red. That's the bright one. It's red, brown, and something else. But there's 4 different tones of pennies, and the last 2 are literally called brown. They're brown. They don't say like, so copper is a metal, right? Copper is an actual metal. The natural color of copper is a bright red, bright, light, golden red. It's not brown. Like, that penny shit is flawed logic. They use the penny because the penny comes in multiple shades. So Noble Drew Ali said that humanity comes in the color of olives, right? He said if you look at the array of olives, that is more going to be more indicative of the different shades of humanity. I agree with that. Outside of the green olive, and some people do have a green tint to them, right? But What is our fascination with the white man's description of us? Are Negroes copper tone? Because did they describe us as Negroes? Did they describe the native people as Negroes or copper tone people? Because if you're going to describe Negroes as copper tone, that'd be like you're describing the Khoisan people. They're predominantly light skinned, all of them, right? But Negroes come in all different shades. So why would they describe a Negro race as copper tone? Right? Especially when I know growing up, motherfucker, I was light skinned. Motherfuckers talk all types of shit to light skinned people. When the fuck we ever become the standard of Negroes? You know what I'm saying? When did the fucking light-skinned people become the standard for Negro? When did copper tone become the standard for Negro? I'll wait. Who is going to even suggest that? All I know is when they talk that brown paper bag, that was a way to divide us and to separate us and to make certain people feel they're better than the other. So why would they call a whole nation of people who come in multiple complexions copper tone? Are they trying to create a hierarchy? And are you Negroes trying to fucking fall into the hierarchy? I don't get it. I'm just trying to figure these things out. And it'd be obvious shit. Copper tone. The copper nations. Copper. Do we know what color copper is? You don't need a penny to see what color copper is. You need a penny see what shade that particular penny comes in. Right? But a brand new copper, freshly copper penny is not brown. That shit is bright red with golden tint. There go that penny right there. Look at that. Look at that bright ass penny. I would not describe that as the complexion of a Negro unless I'm describing the Khoisan, right? I wouldn't like. I know one thing. Like I just be confused because they be back and forth with their shit. Right? You know, they don't be wanting to have a conversation with me. Them niggas know I cut them off at the path. I know where they going. I know these woods. You're not running around these woods. You're not running around these two woods. Yep. And they different alloys, everything. See? Woo. They don't want to have none of these conversations because it's foolishness. Like the copper shit is done. Like this Walter Plecker'S shit, I've been took that away from them. They just ain't caught up to real information yet. I took that shit from them about a year ago. They just like the Walking Dead out here. They just still got an appetite, but they brain ain't working. You know what I mean? Took that. Everybody's catching up. As soon as they catch up to the link that we just dropped, as soon as everybody catch up to that, this Walter Plecker'S conversation gonna be dead. When everybody can come back at them with but there's a list, that shuts it all down. When that's standard, that should be the standard rebuttal for the Walter Plecker'S. Oh, you on the list? Show me your name on the list. Oh, you ain't know it was a list. Oh, you just talking. Okay. I'll make it easy. I don't have to entertain that stuff. I don't hand out participation trophies. You don't get to speak just because you in the building. I know. I used to do interviews. I used to do like celebrity interviews, like album releases, and it's like 20 people in the room trying to ask questions, and you're one of the persons in there trying to ask the question. Let me tell you something. If you get invited to one of these events, celebrity, and you go in there and you ask a question like, so how did you get started? And this motherfucker been in the industry like 10 years. Man, they'll never invite you to another one again. You know why? Because the managers, right? The people, the coordinators for these artists understand that when they have these meet and greets, listening parties, whatever the fuck it is, and they actually have conversation with people that's going to create sound bites and news, they want to invite people that they know are going to ask good questions. They're going to add to it, right? They're not going to invite somebody who's going to ask the same basic questions over and over. You're not going to get invited, and you're not going to get picked to ask a question. Now, if you're somebody that can ask provocative questions that make these people think, they're going to keep bringing you in. Every time there is something, they're going to want you there because they know that you're going to ask something that someone else is not going to ask. And that, you know what I mean? That's how, shout out to Blue Pill. He was a beast at that. Get him in the room with these bloggers and these other people, and they ask the little dumbass questions, and he'll ask the fly question that make these motherfuckers think. And from that point on, they want to talk to him. They want to have conversations because he sparks something even in the artist's mind, right? So the point I'm trying to make is, man, let's have some real conversations with people who's qualified, not just anybody who's in the room. Just because you in the room, I don't know why you in the room. You ain't qualified yourself to be in the room yet, bro. You just in the room. We're not even going to include you in the conversation until you get to a point where you can add on to the bill. Like, damn. Yeah. Our people have to pay close attention to detail with these documents and records. It's easy to refute the argument when they're caught slipping or clinging to other people's talking points. Exactly. Because all these other people's talking points, they got from somebody else, who they got from somebody else. I'm trying to tell you, like, wasn't nobody talking about Walter Plecker 10 years ago in the conscious circles? Like, we had that conversation. Directed at Reggie, Sabir and myself had that conversation. Then his name started to matriculate when everybody started to grab onto this, we the real Indians. Y'all not the real Indians. Y'all got Indian ancestry. Honor it. Find your place in it. You know what I mean? Bring something to the table. Don't try and rewrite the story, especially with your little fantasy shit. Just go write a comic book and make some money off that shit. But you know, I think the high is starting to, they're not getting this high off the, you know what I mean, anymore. They're not getting that same rush. You know what I mean? That them endorphins ain't kicking in like they was kicking in before. So they'll be on to something else. I think this is going to break a lot of people. Go get your DNA done. Embrace all your ancestry. Understand this culture and ethnicity and all that, different things. Like, this is what happens when you move out of your community into a lifestyle. So now you live in a community that's predicated on lifestyle. You're not living in a community with your own people, creating more, adding on, building. We don't live in communities now where, you know, the lady across the street babysits you. We don't live in communities where people even know each other anymore. That's one thing I do kind of enjoy about living in the building. So I get to at least see my neighbors. You know what I mean? We speak, we forced to, we on the elevator together. But I see other people, they come and go out their homes. They don't know they neighbors, and they don't really care about their neighbors because they just moved into a financial situation and now they want to enjoy it. So they're going to be around a whole bunch of other people that make the same amount of money they make, but that don't mean they got the same interests, same backgrounds. So now you don't really got a community predicated on culture. You got a community predicated on income. So who gonna teach? Like, who gonna look out for your kids? Who gonna take interest in yours? Everybody on my block, everybody's mom on my block was my mother at some point in the day. Everybody's mom, from the top of the street to the bottom. Anybody's mom would have poked their head out that door and said something to any one of us. We all would have fucking changed direction, whatever we was doing. And this shit ain't happening. Don't nobody know each other. So when we talk about communities, that's what we talking about. We talking about you don't even know you cousins with this person. Your parents know y'all cousins because they grew up with each other. You don't know that your parents grew up together. Those type of communities. Yeah, like, oh yeah, you ain't know your uncle brought my mom to the prom when they was in high school. Like, no, I didn't know that. That's how long we've been intermingling. We gotta get back to those type of communities. But you know, the money changed everything. So all y'all out there heard this bill, please take that Walter Plecker'S stuff with you. There's a list. I will drop the link for everybody to go look at the list. Find out if your name's on there. If that's something you don't pursue, there you go. But you don't got to be just generalizing everything. Walter Plecker was not in the U.S. military. He wasn't a general. He worked for a specific part of the Virginia government, the registrar. So the registrar, right, registers things. So you don't got to swing a sledgehammer. You can go get the pen. You can go get the surgical knife. You can go find yourself in the registrar. Just like people go find themselves in the DAWs list. You can go find yourself in these Walter Plecker target lists. And if that's the case, then you can use that as an argument point. You can show them proof for it. But if you're just using that as a general argument point, stop motherfucking appropriating other people's history. Stop doing it. You ain't had shit to do with that. Show me your name on the list. Show me your people. Show me your people. Stop all this nonsense. Show us your people, bro. It's simple. If you ain't got no people to show, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't believe it, though. Anybody that's here now is here because you survived. Your ancestors survived generation after generation. You don't live in proof. So you got to have people. You just don't want to stand on the people you can find. You're looking for motherfuckers that's in your imagination. Write the book. Label it science fiction. Make some bread off it. Keep it moving. So on that note, peace canal. Peace and blessings. Get your DNA done. Humble yourself. Find your place. Rise to your equality. Be the God of your cipher. Peace.